So, in the latest episode of One Piece, we get to see who the final players in the race for the actual One Piece itself are. Because as Vegapunk is explaining his final exposition, his final delivery of his message in this episode, he says, "One day the memories of the Void Century will be recalled, and mark my words, that day is coming. The sinking of the world's continents was a man-made disaster brought by weapons by which someone's design still exists today. Of those last descendants of rare races, if the worst should come to pass, I want you all to take care of yourselves. No matter what should happen, these people who refuse to buckle under any and all suppression, who are the closest to the truth, ironically enough. Then again, perhaps it was Roger who sent them there. The person who winds up with it may not be the one Joy Boy desired. There is no stopping the tide. The fate of the world now rests in the hands of the one who finds it, the person who lays claim to the One Piece." And as he's saying this, we see Akainu, Dragon, Sabo, Kuzan, Garling, who is Shanks' father, Kobe, Emu. We see this mysterious guy with a sword, which we're going to say who that is. Spoilers. And then we see Shanks, Buggy, Blackbeard, and Luffy. So, what do you make of... I mean, we've already talked about this before, but I like that the anime finally shows it. And I like the way that it shows it, too. It just looks really good. What do you make of the final players in the race for the One Piece here?
You know, it's funny because I do these anime live reactions, and it's like, okay, I'm watching through this. I already know what's happening. But just seeing the pictures of all these characters again, you know, one by one... The first thing that popped in my head was, holy crap, there's a lot of Garlands here. Like, you know, spoiler alert, you know, I'm assuming everybody here has read the manga, but the guy with the sword is 99% Shamrock. Shanks' brother, Garling's son. And I said, bro, if that's really the case, we got 3 Garlands taking up this little Find the One Piece page. And it's so fascinating because they have the same goal, seemingly, right? Like Shamrock and Garling, father, son. It's like, I wonder why they're like represented twice. But either way, I love it. You know, just seeing all the players here. And this might not even be all the players, right? I'm sure there's other people out there who also want to find the One Piece, but these are just the main factions that Oda wants to hone in on. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, and it also shows you like what the rest of the series is going to be about. It's going to center around all of these characters. And also, you were saying, like, you know, the 3 Figurelands, Garling, Shamrock, and Shanks, all kind of in the same thing. At least Shamrock and Garling are. But also Kuzan and Blackbeard. They're in the same team right now, but both represented individually, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think probably points at, you know, Kuzan's not fully with Blackbeard. Like, he is going to reveal that he's a part of Sword this whole time, and like he's not really trying to make Blackbeard the Pirate King. I think that's a little subtle hint there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Kuzan is that even when Blackbeard invited him to the crew, they kind of talked about it already about how they have different motives, but, you know, they're just kind of aligned for now. You know, it's like an alliance more so than like a permanent partnership. So I could definitely see Kuzan like having his own motives, and even going back to like when Smoker saw Kuzan at Punk Hazard, Kuzan was like, "Hey, Smoker, I'm still me. I'm still that guy." That's like, okay, so he's probably not like a true and blue pirate, despite what he did against Garp, right? People hold the Garp thing against him heavily, but it's like, I mean, it's part of the mission, you know? Like he can't just compromise it because Garp's there. Like I get it.
Exactly. He's deep undercover. He can't blow.
Yeah.
Also, another interesting one here is Akainu.
Yeah, seeing Akainu there, I think is kind of funny, because earlier on in that episode, a lot of the Marines are like, "Hey, Akainu, guys, we should find the One Piece. You know, we should do it before the pirates do." And then Akainu's like, "Guys, you're idiots. Who's going to protect the civilians then?" So it's like Akainu's kind of turning it down, but I'm assuming because so many Marines want to do it, they're probably going to end up like going for it, or, you know, by happenstance. It can also be the case where just by chasing the pirates, naturally you will go to the One Piece. I'm sure that could happen as well. Like, oh, like if you follow Luffy enough, he's gonna take you to Laugh Tale.
Yeah, I have like this theory that I think the location of Laugh Tale will be made public at some point. Like, somebody finds it, you know, somehow somebody gets all 4 road poneglyph information, and then the information gets leaked somehow, and then these people that we see here are the ones who are all going to be going after it at the same time, and they'll all kind of be there. Oda, I think, said in one of the things out there, okay, there's tons of things where Oda has said something, sources, trust me bro, but he said, like, when the One Piece is found, the series is over. And I believe him. So I don't think they're all going to be, like, at the One Piece fighting for it. I think they're going to be, like, outside of it. Maybe they'll all be at Laugh Tale or heading towards Laugh Tale. But I think that these are all going to be, like, the last people that we see, essentially, in the series. Outside of, like, the final war itself, where all of the characters left will be fighting. Kind of like that mural that we saw on Elbaf on the Atom Tree. Like, that's probably going to happen again, but times 10. But I think all of the characters that we see represented here in this final part of Vegapunk's speech are going to be like those last people that are actively, like, whoever wins between them will then get the One Piece. Which makes sense because we're seeing, like, all of the final remaining significant characters outside of Mihawk, who I guess Mihawk doesn't really care. Mihawk's just Mihawk, and maybe he'll be fighting Zoro at this point in the story, but I think that's what this means.
Oh yeah, Mihawk is a funny one, because it's like, he more or less accomplished what he already set out to do. Like, he just wanted to be the world's greatest swordsman, or maybe that happened by happenstance too, but he just talked about living a cozy life, so Mihawk not being here, I think, makes sense. But then again, you know, Buggy kind of reinvigorated him in a weird way, where he said, hey, like, you, Crocodile, like, didn't you guys set up for greater heights when you first, like, became pirates? And it's like, oh, maybe Mihawk did have bigger goals, but he just gave up when he became world's strongest. Not too sure what happened with him, but I do like the idea that One Piece's location becomes public, and that does spur, like, a great battle royale. You know, people might not like that one, because it's like, you know, you want it to be special for Luffy, but it could still be special, you know? Maybe Luffy's the one who finds it first, or maybe Luffy's the one who uncovers it first. But maybe it's like a Caribou situation where Caribou's on board, or, you know, there's a snake on board and they leak that information to everybody else. Maybe it's Big News Morgans, kind of like how in Film Stampede, I believe it was like Bueno Festa, who was acting as, like, you know, the MC of the whole event. He's like, hey guys, like, come to this island, you know, we got the log post for Laugh Tale. Maybe that's it. Big News Morgans wants the clicks, he wants people to subscribe to the newspaper, so he leaks it, which would be crazy. But I mean, then again, we are expecting big things from Morgans anyways. Right? Like, who is he? Like, he reported on God Valley. He's been around for all these years. He seems like a heavy hitter, sort of, at least in the news space. So maybe he's the one who leaks it for the scoop.
Yeah, he has to have his own big final moment in the series, which I think is leading to something like that. And I don't think it'll ruin it, because it's not like they're all going to find it at once. It's just going to be like, hey, it's here. So whoever goes there, like pointing at a map, it's like, it's right there. So whoever could go there, whether it's at the bottom of the sea or whatever, wherever it is, whoever gets there first gets it. And then, of course, Luffy can, but it's just going to be like, they're all going there at the same time.
A battle royale.
Yeah, and then we just have Garling, Shamrock. We can even see, like, Garling and Shamrock fighting each other. Like, I could totally see Garling trying to kill Shamrock in exchange for getting the One Piece for himself. If it's like a one-person only type of thing, which I guess it didn't seem like, because all of the Roger pirates were there, but, like, actually claiming whatever it is, it's probably maybe an individual thing, you know? It's not like they can all share it, possibly, because it's like,
oh yeah,
you know, Vegapunk says, you know, whoever claims it isn't the person that Joy Boy intended. So he didn't say people. It's like an individual type of thing, I guess. So maybe that's why it's Garling and Shamrock, because it's like only one. There can be only one, like Highlander, maybe.
That would be crazy if they fought, because they're both under Imu's contract. So theoretically, Imu could just easily say, hey, you get it, you don't get it, stay away. And then they wouldn't be able to do anything about that, unless we break the contract somehow. Which, Shamrock is an interesting one. Like, I do wonder if Shamrock is going to switch sides for Shanks, or if he's just going to stay a bad guy all throughout.
I think Shamrock will turn. It seems like he will. And I don't know. It just seems like there's something more for Shamrock than just being despicable. Because Garling is that. We already have the despicable guy, and that's Garling. We don't need two despicable Figurelands. Like, I think Shamrock could be the in-betweener, maybe. But like you said, Emu is obviously a part of this. Emu is there. They will be there at the end. And then other familiar relations here. We have Luffy and Dragon. Dragon is here, too. And Sabo. So they're like...
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so, like, Dragon will obviously finally see him do something because he's going to be here at the end going after the One Piece. So
it makes you wonder why Dragon would want the One Piece, right? Like everybody else, it kind of makes sense, you know, depending on what it is. But Dragon, it's like that's a fascinating one because his goal is mainly against the world government. So it's like, maybe he hears that the Celestial Dragons want it or Emu wants it, so that's why Dragon goes there too. Like something's got to lead him over there.
Yeah, I think he'll probably... It will either be revealed, or maybe he already knows, or it'll just... Something will happen as to where he's like, oh, I need the One Piece to overthrow the world government. Then I guess I need to claim it for myself. And I think that would be a fun little tension between him and Luffy. He's like, look, Luffy, I know you're doing your thing, but look, I need to have the One Piece so that I can overthrow the world government. Because Luffy, that's not like his plan. He's not trying to overthrow the world government. He's just trying to become the king of the pirates. So Dragon would be like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I need this, you know, to do the right thing. So I think that would be fun.
That's not too crazy either, because, I mean, we have Kobe, who's kind of doing the same thing right now, where he's like, hey, Luffy, I know you want to get the One Piece and become king of the pirates, but I got to stop you, right? Because Kobe thinks that's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
So the idea that, you know, people who are on Luffy's side would, you know, take Luffy down to get the One Piece, it's not crazy.
Speaking of that, Shanks.
Shanks I think would have the least amount of like remorse when it comes to this. You know, Kobe and Dragon, I feel like they'll be hung up. Shanks, I think he's like, okay, this is a pirate's world, man. Like, I bet he loves Luffy, but at the end of the day, a great pirate will, you know, always go for the loot.
Yeah,
I think Shanks would respect the game.
He's going after it for some reason. We've heard him actively say multiple times he's going after the One Piece, and it's like, why? Would he stand in Luffy's way? Like, seemingly he wouldn't just let him have it, right? Because he would just team with him.
Yeah, I feel like Shanks would be happy if Luffy got it. I just don't think Shanks is going to hand it to him on like a silver platter. I think he's going to make Luffy work for it.
Because, man, it always takes me back to Punk Hazard when Luffy says to Law that he will fight Shanks. And it's like...
he says he wants to take down all of the Emperors, as long as Shanks isn't the first one.
Yeah. So it's like, is this what this was leading to? Like, it comes down to, like, the final four in this tournament, and it's like Luffy versus Shanks in the semifinals?
I personally love it if Luffy fought Shanks. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a serious battle. Like, I think, you know, they could definitely spar and do their thing and still take it serious, but just like not go for the kill.
Yeah. Yeah, Shanks wouldn't kill Luffy.
Yeah,
and vice
I think
versa.
that's like too extreme.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all good sport for pirates. And, you know, I do think Shanks, in a way, even right now, is testing Luffy and his ability because of the whole Barto situation. Like, that's still a big thing that is unresolved. Like, how will Luffy deal with Shanks after he learns that Shanks attacked one of his, you know, fleet commanders? And then Shanks, I doubt Shanks would want Luffy to just forgive him. Like, oh, like, it's Luffy. I can push him around no matter what. He doesn't care. Like, I don't think that's the right answer. I've seen people saying, oh, they're just going to laugh about Barto being beaten. It's like, I don't think that's, like, what we should be doing. I don't think Shanks would respect that. I don't think Barto or any of the other Straw Hats would respect that. Like, I feel like, you know, Shanks is trying to see what kind of leader Luffy is.
Yeah, you raise a great
Personally.
point. I forgot about that. That is unresolved. And I am very curious how Luffy would react to that. He has to do something. He can't just brush it off. So yeah, maybe Shanks is testing him with that. And then, I mean, aside from Sabo, who is just tied to Dragon, we have Buggy and Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard, understandable why he's going after it. He's freaking Blackbeard. But also now it's revealed that he is from the lineage of Davy Jones, who, question mark, was literally the king of the world, or at least the king of the ancient kingdom. And if we're going by like Game of Thrones rules, these are like the Targaryens. So like technically Blackbeard should be where Emu is, like on the empty throne, if we're going by that. So maybe that's what Blackbeard feels, that he should have the One Piece because it was intended for him. So that's understandable why he would go after this, aside from him just being like, you know, the main antagonist of the series, Luffy's main rival. And then as for Buggy, he's just like a wild card. Dawn and Dusk thinks that he's a Nefertari, which maybe he's something. He could be Rox's son. I don't know.
Buggy's lineage is not going to be nothing. Personally, I've talked about like the Nefertari route, the Davy route. If I had to pick something, I probably lean towards Nerona.
Oh, that would be fun.
And that's mainly because, you know, it goes back to the whole Joy Boy thing, you know, right? Joy Boy, the voice actor is Luffy's original voice actor. Well, the first clown in the series was the first villain, and I was like, okay, if we're going back to like and doing all these parallels, maybe that clown Spiel is like supposed to be Emu because they had magic powers. So it's like, yeah, maybe that's the thing there. Like Spiel had magic powers, was a clown. Maybe with that line of logic, we could say Buggy's in Nerona.
I
mean,
like
clowns
all
are known for magic tricks.
They are. And Buggy's Chop Chop fruit, I guess, is an allusion to that in a way.
Yeah. I mean, we're thinking about like ways for Buggy to get stronger. It's like, I don't know if hockey's the answer for him, but it would be nice if there was like a whole thing where he just learns magic.
Like the devil magic that Emu can do?
Yeah, but maybe to like a lesser extent, right?
Yeah.
Or just like the magic that Spiel had in the Romance Dawn adaptation, where Spiel could essentially like conjure weapons, make things fly, shoot fire, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if he could unlock a latent clan ability, like maybe what Loki has with his eyes or something like that, something that's outside of Devil Fruits and Hockey, yes, that would be definitely the route for Buggy, because that's all he really has. He's not going to be able to power level into some beast. That's just not what his trajectory is. So if he could get something adjacent to that, that would be, I think, great for him. But I just don't, than that, I just don't know what the future is for him. Because if you would have, you know, told me 5 years ago that he's going to become a Yonko, I would have been like, okay, sure. I mean, he's already a warlord. Why not? But it's just like, you know, and then if you would have told me, yeah, he's going to be there at the very end. He comes very close to getting the actual One Piece itself. I'm like, okay, sure. So I don't know.
I mean, he just keeps on falling upwards, man. The whole Buggy Yonko thing, I think, was great.
Yeah.
And I do think he will become something big in the end. Like maybe just king of the world. Like him sitting on the empty throne, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, at least.
And if he's in Nerona, then I guess it kind of makes sense, right? I
yeah,
guess
if
it
he
would
just
go to him.
Physically sits on there, like at least once, that would be a great panel. Like that would be very iconic, just having that at least one moment. Like if anybody gets
he's gonna have to do that same pose he had back in like chapter 3. Like his legs are crossed and everything. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, it not even if it doesn't even really have to go anywhere. Just the fact that he does it, I think, would be really cool.
Yeah, it could just be like for a minute. Nobody has to even see it.
Yeah,
like, it'd be so funny if he does it and like nobody's in the room and he's just waiting for somebody to come inside. He's like, guys, come on.
That's perfect.
Where's everybody?
That's perfect. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. We're looking at the end of the series. This is what this is. This is showing us the end of the series essentially. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. If you liked it, give it a like. Check out Sai's channel, link in description. And have a great day, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace out, guys.